Johannesburg Emergency officials. They say they will again resume the search for 6-year-old Soweto boy, that's Khayalethu Magadla. He fell into an open manhole while playing football with his friends. Now, efforts to try and locate him have not yielded positive results just yet. Malungelo Booi is joining us live now from the Klipspruit area. Malu, good morning to you. So the search teams from Johannesburg Emergency Services have finally reached that point. That is what we understand to be the sewer split, and that's where they were hoping that perhaps they could locate the body of young Khayalethu Magadla. What are the chances? Are they hopeful that they might locate him here?
Hi there, Tole. Well, you're right. In fact, they got to the split chamber last night, Tole, and they started with that search. But unfortunately, they did not actually find anything. So what they're actually doing now, they're back at some of the manholes around the Klipspruit Eldorado Park area, also searching again. And what they're actually doing, Tole, is what's called, they're sweeping through this particular area. So they're making sure that they go back into this area to make sure that if there's any doubt really in their mind of, they want to be certain that there's really nothing in this particular line. So later on they'll go back then to that split chamber to try and see again, Koli, if they can locate this young boy. As you rightfully indicated, today it's 11 days since this young boy fell into that manhole while playing with his friends football. And we're talking to some of his relatives and community members yesterday, Koli, saying that all really they are hoping for is that this young boy is ultimately found, and that, you know, his family and his community can essentially find closure. And what emergency personnel, Koli, are doing, they are being assisted by police members to go inside some of these manholes in searching for this little boy. They had given that assurance, Koli, that they will only stop with this operation once they have located this young boy. But so far, Koli, they've yet to locate him. And so what does that mean then? It means they'll carry on with this search, because they had given that commitment, in fact, to the family of this young boy and to the members of Dlamini community, that everything will be done to make sure that this little boy is reunited with his family, whether he's late, Koli, or not. What matters is that he has to be reunited with his family, and that's why then we continue to see emergency personnel really not giving up, Koli.
I cannot stop thinking about the friends of young Khayalethu Magadla, Malungelo Booi, the conversations you had yesterday about his friends going back to the very site where they last saw their friend. The understanding is that they still try to go to that area, have conversations, and there were suggestions that they perhaps might need some counseling.
Koli, it's a very heartbreaking story, really. And when you see some of the children that were playing, that would normally play with this young boy, just moving around that particular area, you can just see the desperation in their faces. And I was talking to one community member and also a relative of one of the friends, and he was saying that what these young children often ask is whether have emergency personnel been able to locate Khaya? Will Khaya be brought back home? You know, but the answer is no. Emergency personnel are still, you know, trying to locate where young Khaya is. And one of the community members was saying that these young children now need counseling, Koli, because they are traumatized. But you can actually see, Koli, that these children are traumatized. But it's not only these children that are traumatized. It's also the family of young Khaya. But it's also community members in that community that in the beginning, when this incident happened, you know, they woke up every morning, Koli, to assist emergency personnel to search for this young boy. It's community members that have also given their assurance that they will do everything possible to make sure that they continue to support the family of that young boy, to make sure that that family doesn't feel alone during this difficult time.
Malungelo, at a time like this, I mean, what you've just described, it's absolutely heartbreaking. You feel like if you were to come across those young people, those friends of Khayalethu Magadla, you just give them a hug and tell them everything is going to be okay. But you can't also stop being angry as a citizen, because you think to yourself, he fell into a manhole that was not covered, and the day after, or we understand days after that hole, the people in Johannesburg, the municipality, went and quickly sealed that manhole. How many other manholes that, as you have been tracking this team, how many other manholes have they found open without covers?
You spot on there, Koli. I mean, the community is angry, and rightfully so, because that manhole, residents telling us that it had been open for about 4 months. In fact, some community members were telling us that. But when you go to that particular area, you find that the manhole is closed. In fact, when we're moving around here, Koli, I must say, though, I have not seen any manhole that has been open. So it seems as if, you know, the incident that happened with Khayalethu, it has in fact been a lesson to authorities. But you're right, this is not the first incident to happen in Gauteng. Last year in Orange Farm, another child fell into a manhole that was opened, and that child was ultimately found in Everton. It's been an ongoing problem, and residents are saying that this incident, Koli, could have been avoided had authorities went there and sealed that manhole when it was reported to them. The question is, why was that manhole not immediately sealed when residents raised questions about it? That's a question that authorities have yet to answer. But, Koli, when you go there now, you'd find that manhole is sealed, and many other manholes then in this particular area is sealed. But I can tell you now, Koli, that there's probably in some community somewhere in this country, there's an open manhole that needs to be sealed, and authorities have not sealed it.
Malungelo, Booi, thank you very much for that comprehensive update live for us in the area of Klipspruit, and that is where emergency services were hoping to locate the body of young Khayalethu Magadla. That's the split chamber, as they called it. No success just yet.